Alabama had a huge recruiting weekend in football. Well, that continued on Monday with JaMichael Garrett. We're going to talk about him. We're going to get into Alabama having 3 of the top-ranked interior offensive linemen. Yeah, coming back, returners on this team. How about Chris Samuels and Mark Ingram on the Hall of Fame ballot? There's a reason why it's important, though, to talk about this, because the College Football Hall of Fame is about to get rocked, and we're going to tell you why. Basketball is stacked. They have an incredible roster. We're going to start looking at what Nate Oats is bringing to the table this upcoming season. Like and subscribe. This is the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. We're glad that you're here. And right after the break, Big Sexy Elmo and I are going to get this party started. Roll Tide, everybody. What do you say, everybody? There he is, Mr. Brett Elmore, Big Sexy Elmo, and me at Broadcaster Mick Gillespie. I'm cracking up. I'm not trying to crack up right now. I got to get serious, Brett. I got to get serious. And what's the matter? I don't know. Something just got me in between the time that the Open happened and now. But as I get a serious face, Alabama looking at down to Gulf Shores to try to steal a guy that Auburn feels like they got in the bag, linebacker JaMichael Garrett.
Yeah, like you mentioned, from down on the coast, man, down on the coast, Gulf Shores, 6'2", 205-pounder, plays linebacker there. Are they the let's see, Gulf Shores? Are they the Dolphins?
Yes.
Yeah, the Dolphins. Class of 2026. Guys got a heavy lean toward Auburn, but who knows? Finished up last season with 83 tackles, 26.5 tackles for loss, about 10 sacks, an interception, 3 fumble recoveries, guys all over the field. But in town, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, of course they're the Dolphins. Have you ever been on a boat down in that area? Dolphins come up.
Dolphins come up, but
they come by. You see them. You're like, oh, look, there's dolphins. And they're like chasing fish.
You're like, oh, look at the cute dolphin and everything. And but, Orange Beach High School's down there, too. And they came along after Gulf Shores, so the dolphin name was gone.
No, they went Mako, right? Like shark.
Yeah, the Makos.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, so this is a guy that Alabama would love to take away from Auburn. It's going to be a big-time recruiting battle for his services. These are the kind of guys that you want to keep in your stable. Nick Saban did an excellent job of winning the top players in the state of Alabama. So you got a couple years. It's not 25, it's 26. He came to town, get that relationship going, and it just kind of caps off what really has been an interesting start to the recruiting schedule for Alabama. And I mean, it's getting hot and heavy. I mean, you only have 70 official visits, right? But you can have as many unofficial visits as you want per cycle, right? So you get these lists and, you see who's in Tuscaloosa from time to time. And it's like, the official visitors are this guy and this guy and this guy, and then the unofficials are this. But I'm sure it's, still a great experience. Just might cost you a little bit more money when it's an unofficial visit. But this coming up weekend is going to be another one of those weekends where you're looking at it and you're like, man, Duke Johnson was there, and Michael Carroll. We've talked about him, the big offensive lineman from up in Pennsylvania. Dawson Merritt, we've done shows on him from Overland Park, Kansas. He's a top 100 linebacker. So it's fun. Grayson Littleton, remember talking about him from Tampa, cornerback. Bo Jackson, I'll never forget that name. And I think this time we want Bo Jackson to be an Alabama player. He's a top 300 athlete from Cleveland, Ohio, but he's going to be in town over the weekend. And the list goes on and on. But, it's funny when you look at what this coaching staff is doing. I mean, they're bringing in the top talent. They're doing a good job of getting guys to commit, be a part of the program. Nothing has changed on that front since Nick Saban left.
No, it's been full steam ahead since he hit the ground in Tuscaloosa. Really and truly, it's been full steam ahead. And yeah, I didn't know about the official visits and the unofficial visits. Do the official visitors, do they get to bowl, and the unofficial visitors get to maybe put their shoes on for them, or do they get, or does the coach, reach into his pocket, pull out a handful of quarters, and send them to the Gallagher machine? I mean, I don't know that much of a difference between the two, but I'm sure it's both is probably fairly enjoyable nonetheless.
You brought this up and talking about football, and I thought this was a great topic. Parker Brailsford, Jaeden Roberts, and Tyler Booker all rank inside the top 10 for highest graded returning interior linemen in the SEC. You win championships based on the interior line. You win football games with the core players like this, and to see 3 guys on the line on that list is a really, really good thing. And don't forget about Proctor, who's not on this list, but kept improving as the season went on as well. So if Alabama, I'll tell you this right now, Brett, if Alabama's offensive line is the best unit on the team, Bama's going to win a lot of games.
Yeah. The big uglies, as they used to call them and still do sometimes. Yeah, you win the game in the trenches, man. And mano y mano v mano there on the line. And, 3 in the top 10 highest graded. This is according to Pro Football Focus. So that's a really good sign, because I hear a lot of people thinking, of course, during this time of year, everybody's like, well, I wonder how the offensive line's going to do. You're sitting around the water cooler and you're talking about different things. Well, this is a good indication of how good they may be, which is a great sign for Alabama as far as the wins and losses probably are going to stack up.
No, they're going to need them. This is the area where I felt like they didn't get the job done in the Rose Bowl, and that's what cost Alabama from winning a national championship and sending Nick Saban out with one more title. Yeah. Is that they didn't get the job done in that game, and if they would have won that, they would have beat Kalen DeBoer. And how weird would that have been? Would Kalen DeBoer have went to Alabama had he lost to Alabama for the national championship? Wow. Think about that for a second. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this, though, Brett. Chris Samuels and Mark Ingram on the College Football Hall of Fame ballot. You guys probably know I was in school when Chris Samuels was on the offensive line at Alabama. He's a tremendous player. He's a great person. He was a force, an Outland Trophy winner. He opened up holes for Sean Alexander all season long, and then he went on to have a great NFL career. Hopefully he gets in. I would definitely vote for him. But, Brett, when you saw Mark Ingram's name on that list, you said the College Football Hall of Fame is about to get rocked. And what does that mean? Tell everyone.
Well, I think they're going to get rolled with crimson, because that means if Mark Ingram is now eligible for the Hall of Fame, that means that Saban-era dynasty, all of those players are going to be becoming eligible each and every year now as we go on down the line. You're going to see all those Saban-era players, and you're going to see them on these lists. And also excluded on this list, of course, is Coach Nick Saban. He is also on the ballot, and I would think if I had to bet money, I would think he would probably be inducted into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. But, yeah, Saban's on the ballot, Ingram and Samuels. But, yeah, from here on out, the next X amount of years. How many years was Saban there?
Since 2007.
Yeah. So you do the math. Every single year, we're going to start seeing all these Alabama players that's come through this Saban era. And I hope the Hall of Fame has a lot of room, because they need to put a Crimson Tide wing into that thing.
Yeah, they'll join guys like Cornelius Bennett, Biscuit, Paul Bear Bryant, Sylvester Croom, Harry Gilmer, You got Dixie Howe and Leroy Jordan, Don Hudson, Antonio Langham's in there, Marty Lyons. I'm not even hitting everyone. I'm just giving you an idea. Johnny Musso, Billy Neighbors, Ozzie Newsome, Fred Singleton.
Joe Willie's got to be in there, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Namath is not in the College Football Hall of Fame?
No, I'm looking at the list right now. He's not. But I don't think that he had he played for Alabama, but I don't think he was as dominating as he was in the NFL.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess so.
Unless I'm missing something, but Riley Smith is in there. Gene Stallings, Frank Thomas, Wallace Wade, and Bear Bryant are all in there. They're all national championship winning coaches. Obviously, played in the college ranks as well. So we'll see. But I agree with you, man. I mean, it's going to be Bama, Bama, Bama. People are going to be sick. You think they were sick of Alabama being in the polls? They're going to be sick of all the Alabama players that they're going to have to put in because we've had guys that have dominated the game for almost 20 years.
Yeah. It's just it's going to be the next 17 years or so. It's going to be actually, depending on how Coach DeBoer does, it's going to be year after year after year after year. Different Alabama players becoming eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame. Like I said, I might as well just build a wing for us over there.
Yeah, I love that idea. All right, so let's talk a little bit of basketball. Can you believe that we're talking basketball? But I start to look at this roster now that Sears and Stevenson are back, and you start looking at the players and the talent that Alabama's bringing to the table, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what Alabama basketball is able to do with a roster that's stacked like this.
I already have people hitting me up for Alabama basketball tickets. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can.
No mention of Alabama football tickets yet. I normally get that. But Alabama basketball, the other day I had someone hit me up for basketball tickets. I don't have basketball tickets, but if I did, I'd probably help you out. I don't have access to any. Mick probably does, but
I didn't. No, I don't. Mark Sears, 21.5 points a game. Latrell Wrightsell, almost 9 points a game. Chris Youngblood scored 15 plus points per game at South Florida. Grant Nelson, almost 12 points a game at Alabama. Clifford Amari had over 11 points a game at Rutgers. And then you start looking at the other guys. Aiden Holloway, who I think is going to have a really big season for Alabama. Almost 7+ points per game at Auburn. Jaron Stevenson, 5+ for Alabama last year. Houston Mallett, 14+ points, almost 15 points a game at Pepperdine. And then Mo Diabate, with 3 points. And then you had Reed, Sherrill, Filion, and Cunningham, which were all like ESPN top 100.
Yeah. I mean, what is this roster, about 12 deep? You think? I think so. I mean, I just think that the roster is probably 12 deep, and look, top to bottom. You said it, and let's look at the other guys. Those other guys, they could probably start for anyone else in the country. The excitement is building up. I've been hearing more and more every day about Alabama is going to be the number one team in the country come basket. When the season starts. So. Anyway, we'll see. But I listened to Nate Oats. He was doing an interview the other day, and I mean, this roster, buckle up, baby, because this team could win the national championship.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Just win, baby. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, softball finished up. We didn't talk about them yesterday, and some of you guys reminded us. Yeah, they lost to Florida. Their season ended. They weren't very good during the regular season. They were very average, but then the playoffs came, and they were fantastic. They got to the World Series. what I'm hoping is that this is the precursor of Bama softball getting back to where they go to win the World Series, win the national championship, because the last couple of years they made it, but I never felt like they were a legitimate contender to win the title. It felt like, hey, getting there was their championship. So hopefully they expect to get there and they expect to win it. And they're not that far off. They got to get better fundamentally, I think. The way they played in the regular season, you saw some of the same things kind of creep up on them in the game against UCLA, a game against Florida. But they overcome a lot of mistakes. If they just make less mistakes, it's probably going to get a lot easier for them to win.
That's right. But way to finish strong. Making the College World Series. That was a great way to end the season.
Yep. All right, guys, a couple things I want to say before I turn it over to Brett for everything going on today in the world. And that's, first off, that we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. And I know that some of you guys don't gamble, and I know some of you guys do, but they have a fantastic golf course over there as well at Pearl River. It's an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours change from Birmingham and other places. It's anywhere, in the general vicinity of the state of Alabama. It's not too far to get to. And right now you get $40 round of golf if you bet $50 at the sports book from April 1st until August 31st. So you get to do both. Go over there, put some money down on some games, see if you can win. Maybe you turn that 50 into 500. Brett loves his parlays, but it's fun. It's a cool hangout. They got all the TVs to watch the games. You got the counter if you need some help. They got kiosks to bet as well. And then Dancing Rabbit, which is just the Augusta that you can play. It's a fantastic golf course and one of the best in the entire South. And honestly, the best course in Mississippi. So go check it out for yourself. Table games and slots at Golden Moon and Silver Star Casino. You got the water park. You got the spa, everything that you want to do to get away. It's a great vacation, and it's not too far. Plus, Big and Rich, Boys to Men, all those guys coming to perform. Rodney Carrington, Ryan McKnight. So they got they're celebrating 30 years, and they did it up the right way. All right, Brett, I'm going to move you over here. And then when we come back from this little timeout, it's all you. You ready?
I'm ready. Pressure's on.
Resort. They call him Big Sexy, coming at you from the Walker County. Jasper is his hometown. He's known for giving free rundowns. Oh, Big Sexy, throwing out those Alabama thoughts, sneaking out your mom's window without getting caught. It gives you the XP, but Big Elmo is here to please. Big Sexy Elmo on the Bama Tailgate Show.
Give me 100 on the Tide. That's what we're going to be like when we go to Pearl River. Yeah, can I have 100 on the Tide? They'll say, football or basketball, sir? I'll say, both. All right, welcome in. It is the 4th day of June, and I have a severe babe alert for you there, Mick. Angelina Jolie celebrating her 49th birthday today.
Is 49 or 50 the new 30? You know how they say that?
Yeah, probably not.
No. What do you consider like if you're 50, what is the new 50? What are you really?
I would say 50 is probably the new 38 and a half.
Okay. So I believe that. People do look younger than they used to. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, are we taking better care of ourselves? Are we evolving, or the modern conveniences?
You look younger than what you actually are.
Thank you.
I mean, you look like a 28-year-old schoolboy that just got out of college. Here I am. And people look at me and they say, how old are you, Brett? And I'll say 40. And they'll say, no, really, how old are you? And I'm like, 40. And, so anyway.
And then what do you do when they keep laughing? What do you do?
They just, it's like,
you're like, yeah, not funny.
Yeah. Horatio Sands is 55 today.
Is he still on SNL? Is he still there?
No, I don't think so, but I loved him in the movie Road Trip from the year 2000. He was the French toast cook.
Oh, yeah, I did like him too. Yeah.
That was funny.
That was funny, yeah.
Horatio is 55 today. Let's see. Russell Brand is 49 today.
Yeah, I like him, man. I mean, like he's I guess he's like a political commentator or whatever from Britain, which is always funny when someone from Britain talks about American politics. And I'm not watching a whole lot of that stuff, but when he pops on a show or whatever, I do enjoy it. Like he brings a lot of energy and he makes you think.
And that's a look at the celebrity birthdays today. If you're looking for something to celebrate, today is National Cognac Day.
I could celebrate that.
I had a feeling you could celebrate this. What's your favorite?
Wasn't it the ladies' man on SNL that always had to have some cognac? Mm-hmm. I'm honestly, man, that's one I haven't had a whole lot of cognacs. What is it? Hennessy, probably the one that I've had the most of, and I like it. It gives you a little bit of burn, but you can do some stuff with that.
It just hurts so good when it goes down. Ugh.
I do love it. Like when I go to like friends' house, like I've got some friends and they love cognac, and I'm one of these guys that like when in Rome, if you're breaking the cognac out, I will drink it with you, man. I'm not going to let you drink alone. You
are an equal opportunity drinker. If you got it, we're drinking it.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
No, we're both the same way. Today is let's see, National Frozen Yogurt Day.
Well, you know what? I love frozen yogurt. I like custard. The thing about it was I always wondered, like, was frozen yogurt, like, was that healthier than regular ice cream? And I don't think it is. I think they're all the same. So
I think they're all the same. When's the last time you had an ice cream or a frozen?
Yesterday. Yeah, I had an ice cream yesterday. Yeah. And I always keep my whipped cream and Reese's Pieces close by, and I'll just put it right in the ice cream. I make a Reese's Pieces ice cream.
Is that for the ice cream or what?
That's for the ice cream.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just asking, double checking. I've never seen anyone carry around a bottle of whipped cream.
Well, I knew you were going to say it was ice cream day, so I was just like, have you ever done this before?
A man on a mission. Oh my! That's something I would do.
I know. I'm taking your job right now. So good.
That is great. Oh, okay. Well, today is National Hug Your Cat Day. You've got a cat. There's a lot of cat people out there.
I love hugging cats.
Yeah,
I really do.
My mom's got a cat named Crook. It's because that cat's head's been crooked ever since it wandered up. It looks like this, Like,
yeah,
that's the ugliest. I wouldn't say Crook's ugly, but
but he's ugly.
It was a feral cat. It finally caught the thing, and now it lives inside and lives this luxury lifestyle now. I mean, went from literally from a homeless woods into an indoor cat that just loves to lay around and get petted now. Unbelievable. today is on this day, 1912, Massachusetts becomes the first state in the union to set a minimum wage.
Look, I'm going to tell you guys a secret, though. If you raise the minimum wage, everything else goes up with it. You know, like when the people are like, hey, let's just raise the minimum wage. I took economics at Alabama, you know, and they're like, oh, why? If you know, we just pay people more, we'll raise minimum wage. And it's like, okay, which you need to have like some kind of a standard, right? I mean, you don't want people working for free. But then I see places like in California and in Seattle, they raise the minimum wage is going to be $30, and then now all of a sudden your pizza is like $100, you know. So you got, you know, it's like a balancing act. Like, you know, it used to be the worker was taken advantage of, and then now, you know, it's like to keep the price of everything, you know, consistent. You know, you got to keep that wage down. But the tough part about it is a lot of the really like minimum wage jobs are kind of like get in the door jobs, and then you build from there, you know? So I'm glad they had a minimum wage. My first minimum wage was $3. And I want to say it was like $3.37 or something back in the day, maybe $3.62 somewhere in there. So you didn't make a whole lot of money. I mean, think about it. 3 hours, you didn't even make $10. So, you know, I'm glad that it's kind of more respectable now. What you try to do is you try to find one that works, you know, where it's not going to raise the price of everything, but the people that are working actually make some money.
I think I started out at $5.15 an hour.
Yeah.
And still there. It was this day, 1958, Jerry Lee Lewis renews his vows to his cousin Myra. They had to redo the ceremony because Lewis wasn't legally divorced from his prior wife when he and child bride Myra got married. So
you know, don't you think that if you were him, you would have tried to hide that a little bit better? You know, like, I mean, that's the first thing we think about when we think about Jerry Lee Lewis. He married his young cousin, you know, and what cousins are we talking about? You know, is that like his first cousin? Is that his third cousin? Is his fifth cousin? You know, like, I mean, and I think some of that does matter into this, you know.
Yeah.
But the fact that she was underage is another, you know, that shouldn't happen. But happy anniversary.
Yeah. Happy, family
Great
reunion.
balls of fire. Great balls of fire.
Yeah, buddy. 1967, the Jimi Hendrix Experience performs at the Seville Theatre in London, along with Procol Harum, the Chiffons, and others. Hendrix opens his set with a cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, to the surprise of Paul McCartney and George Harrison, who were sitting right there in the audience. How
Can you imagine that? Well, Jimi Hendrix was like a left-handed guitarist, right? And so he just like basically just strung the guitar backwards so that he had a guitar to play. And he would shred, man. I mean, and he's one of those guys that, like, we were talking about Marilyn Monroe the other day. You're like, still cool, still in style. Jimi Hendrix never going out of style. You know, just not, man. Like, he represents American rock and roll. And he was famous back then. Famous back then, young, you know, whatever. If he would have lived longer, he would have made so much money. And I think it's funny. I love the Joe Rogan Experience, and he named it that because he loved Jimi Hendrix and that, you know, that album that they have, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, you know, still impacting out there. And, you know, like you say, man, you still hear his stuff and it still sounds clean and good. Yep.
1973, patent is granted for the automated teller machine, the ATM.
Back to Hendrix. Hollywood Hogan used his song as his walk-in. I need to bring that up for you because every time I hear it, I just want to come in like this here. All right, the automated teller machine.
Yeah, it was.
You ever see Cops, like where the people, like these robbers, will like pull up to the automated teller machine and then bolt it and then take off with it?
Yeah. My neighbor is a security guard for a very large banking institute in Alabama, and it's her job. She works overnights, and she was monitoring cameras one night, and there was a backhoe come up, and she was watching it there on the camera, and here comes this backhoe, and I get coming after the ATM.
Did they catch the culprits?
I'm sure they probably did.
Probably an easy one. We've got a backhoe that's at the bank over on.
Well, she said she said it was a pretty odd call that she had to make at 3:00 in the morning to her supervisor. She's like, "Yeah, well, you're not going to believe this one. There's a backhoe right now at the bank trying to get the ATM. You know, probably not the best way to wake up your boss.
No,
but." You may remember this one. I know I have seen this and heard of this. 1974, a baseball PR stunt goes bad when 10-cent beer night is held at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium.
Know all about
Fans get so drunk and unruly, the Indians have to forfeit the game to the Rangers.
Yeah, and see what happened was Billy Martin managed the Rangers, and they picked the Rangers and the Indians for this beer night, right? But it was probably a bad idea because those teams had been feuding, right? Hitting guys on purpose and all of that stuff, right? And like one of those deals. And so then as the game's going on, they're having their own internal issues.
Right.
And then so many people wanted beer that they didn't have enough people to pay, to pour the beer. So the fans started pouring their own beer, and eventually mayhem ensued. And I
would have loved to have been there. Could you imagine? This would have got you 10 beers.
Yeah. Yeah, that would, and that's the night that you buy, because like sometimes you go out with your friends and you're like, I'll pick up the tab, and then they owe you the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
It volleys, and then and you're just hoping that that's the one that falls on your night.
Oh, guys, I'll get the beer tonight.
Everybody here, $2 got all these beers.
Don't worry, guys, I've got this one.
What's the cheapest you ever paid for a beer?
Cheapest I've ever paid for a beer?
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you, when I was at college at Alabama, they used to have on Fridays, and I don't remember if it was during exams or what, but Friday afternoons, Galette's used to have 25-cent beer. And
Really?
then and basically what they would do was, and some of you guys watching probably remember this, they would have the 25-cent beer, and then that would go for that'd be like from like 1 to like 1:30. And then it would be like 50-cent beer. And then it would be $1 beer. You know what I mean? So depending on what time you got there was what time the special hit.
I guess the cheapest that are you talking about in a bar?
Yeah, so I paid 25 cents.
No, $2 probably.
Okay.
$2.
Well, I got you by $1.75.
Yeah, you got me on that one. Let's see. Got two more things, and this one is definitely for you, Mick. 1998, The Other Ones. The group made up of the surviving members of the Grateful Dead following Jerry Garcia's death make their debut at the Warfield Theater in San Francisco.
I just think of, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is actually a Grateful Dead shirt, and it's got bears on it, like an interlocking pattern. I just think about like how great Jerry Garcia was as a performer, putting that band together. I think about like some of the great bands that have ever come along, but to still have the staying power that they're out in Vegas right now with, which really isn't even half of the group that they had with the other ones left, a couple surviving members, and selling out the Spear in the biggest residency since Elvis. When you really want to get into it, they keep adding dates.
Yeah.
No one's been able to sell that Spear out like they have and do that. So the music that the guy put out there is still relevant and still cool. But I'm guessing that you remember guys like Phil Lesh and Bob, and Bob's actually still out there right now in the band, doing that. But Bill Kreshman and Mickey Hart and all those guys. So I'm excited about, just Brett, by the way, I'm excited about going out there and seeing what is left of the other ones.
Yeah, that's right. And finally today, 1990, 54-year-old Alzheimer's disease patient Janet Atkins kills herself using a suicide machine developed by Dr. Jack Kevorkian. She's the first person Kevorkian helps to commit suicide, bringing Dr. Death to national attention.
Yeah, and I don't even know how I feel about this. You know, I'm kind of, I mean, I guess when we get to that moment when we're sick and things aren't going the way we want them to, and it's hard to breathe and you're in pain every day, you know, and I almost feel like it should be up to the individual to decide. But, you know, me personally, like I don't know. I just don't think I'd ever want to give up a breath that I could possibly have, you know. Now that could change a lot, but I remember they were like trying to put Dr. Death in jail all the time, you know, because there were laws against this stuff. So I don't know. That's sad though. It's sad, you know. It's sad when you have like a debilitating disease or illness. You know, it's sad when you're to the point in your life where you don't want to live anymore.
Right.
And you know, and it's sad that you know that we all have to go through that one day, because I'm going to tell you a secret, Brett. We're not going to get out of this place alive.
No, we're not. we're not getting out of this whole world alive.
Sadly. So let's enjoy today. Let's enjoy today, everyone.
Enjoy the moment. Let's enjoy the moment. Exactly right. But that's a look at this day in history. Would you rather be a dolphin or a shark?
Oh, wow. I don't know. You know, dolphins can beat up sharks, and then whales eat sharks. But sharks eat most everything else. I'd probably say dolphin, just because they have such a great community spirit. You know, when you see them, they're always like together and having a good time. You know, I saw a video on Instagram the other day where one jumped out of the pool at one of these places where they swim around and do tricks, and the rest of the dolphins were all there screaming like, "Hey, you know, grab Jimmy and put him back in the pool," you know, and the people there. Did you see that? And then they come in and they put him back in the water. They knew their friend was missing.
Yeah, I think a dolphin would be fun. I would be like the dolphin that you get to swim with the dolphins, and I would be all hyped up because I think, wow, all the babes will be, you know, hugged up to me, and I'll get to swimming around. Then it'd be these weird old dudes that I'm gonna have to swim around. You know, if I'm being reincarnated, you know, I would rather probably be a dolphin than a shark.
Yeah.
But I just I've wondered that the entire 39 minutes of this show since the beginning, when we were talking about Gulf Shores High School and and Orange Beach. That's been on my mind this entire time. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what we talked about during the show.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else does either. Roll Tide, everybody.